Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hoopers Lab podcast. This is the podcast where we talk all things basketball. I'm your host, Brody, joined here by my co-host, Riley.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. How are you doing?
Quite fantabulous today.
Okay. I see you with the vocabulary. Nice, nice. Um, so we got some stuff to talk about this week in the NBA. I guess we could get right into it. Should we start with the Embiid injury?
Yes.
Let's talk about that stuff. Um, as we know, this summer agreed upon the 65 game requirement, which means that you have to play a minimum of 65 games to be considered for MVP and to make all NBA teams. Okay? But I think we're starting to see the flaws in that rule a little bit more because Embiid, he forced himself to play against the Warriors. He was clearly not healthy in that game. He didn't look healthy. He was a game time decision, but he wanted to play because he's the front runner for MVP. So obviously he wants to meet the games requirement, which has been in jeopardy. And he got injured, and now he's going to be out for a while. And I think it just shows the flaws with the system. So what do you think about all that?
Yeah, I think, well, to start, I think we were already expecting Embiid to not, um, you know, we were expecting that he was going to miss the required amount of games. Um,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, but yeah, this obviously kind of solidifies that. And I don't mind the idea of the rule. I think it just needs to be tweaked a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that, like, for example, if Embiid only played like 60 games this year, I feel like he'd be off of a lot of people's MVP ballots anyways. So I think if they lower the
Yeah,
threshold, um, it's a little more acceptable in that sense. I also think either they just need to completely get rid of the threshold for all NBA teams, or just not, or just raise that as well.
yeah.
Yeah, all NBA specifically goes a lot into like players' contracts and things, which is why
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah,
people like Paul George, Kawhi, even Tyrese are trying so hard just to get extra games in because they want everybody at the end of the day wants those big paydays that you can get from being all NBA. So yeah, I
for
think
sure.
I
Yeah.
I don't mind the rule and I like the incentive behind it, other than the fact that it's forcing people to play when they're banged up. Um, but yeah, I think it just needs to be tweaked a little bit. And also, like, the thing is, um, it's prevent it because it's preventing the sitting out as well, which is what we had a lot, where people just sit out when they're not really injured, like they don't have to, but they don't
Mm-hmm.
really want to play through minor discomfort, which, like, fair enough. But we used to get that all the time. So yeah,
Yeah, true. Clippers. But the big thing I feel like with this is that I didn't really see players winning big awards or making all NBA teams if they did play under 65 games. I feel like it wasn't really much of an issue before. Like, I don't think we've seen an MVP play under 65 games other than like Bill Walton in like the 70s. Because Embiid played like close to that in his MVP year. But I don't know. I just don't like most likely you're not going to make all NBA and stuff if you don't play a lot. So like I don't know. I just think that puts unrealistic expectations, especially when it's things that are like out of players' control. Um, like Embiid easily could have sat out that game, but he like is the MVP frontrunner and he wants to defend his MVP award. But he forced himself to play, and then his injury just got even worse.
yeah,
So that's a situation that is kind of the worst thing that
yeah,
could happen.
yeah. That's the thing. I also think it's like that's literally like the worst case scenario, though. I don't want to say it's like
Yeah.
oddball because it can happen,
Hmm.
obviously, and it has. But I do think that's like worst case scenario out of the possible issues that come from this rule. But yeah,
Hmm. I think there's another situation too. So Tyrese Halliburton, if he misses time, if he misses more time, he can miss out on $40 million because if he doesn't make All
yeah,
NBA, Then he misses out on $40 million, which is absurd. He's
Yeah.
four missed games away from losing out on that money. And so in a game against the not the Pacers, in a game against the Pacers, in a game against the Celtics, he was on a minutes restriction because they want to like slowly bring him back. They don't want him to re-aggravate his injury.
Yeah.
But the Pacers were in that game, and that game was close all the way through. They ended up losing that game because the Pacers didn't want to play Tyrese Halliburton even more minutes. I don't think Halliburton played the fourth. He got sat out like midway through the third quarter because they didn't want him to re-aggravate his injury because if that happens, then he misses out on his money. But
Yeah.
also, I don't know. That's a game where like I think the Pacers would have won, and you just want the best product of basketball. So
Yeah, I
I
agree.
don't know if that's a yeah
It's a weird, I think it's a weird concept and a weird um, thing to handle. Because obviously you want to put your best product on the floor as much as possible, but sometimes if someone's playing a little banged up, you're not always going to get that anyways. And yeah, I understand all the incentive behind pushing it. It's just going to be something that needs to be if they don't completely get rid of it, it definitely needs to be tweaked.
yeah for sure. Um, yeah. Is there anything else on that topic? I think it's kind of stupid, but I think there will be tweaking. I think it should be tweaked,
Yeah, I don't
and I think that the
see
flaws have kind of been shown.
I agree. I don't think I see the NBA fully giving up on it yet. Um,
Yeah.
especially I guess it kind of goes hand in hand with the injury report rule change and whatnot, and with resting players. Um, but I think that one specifically has been really um, helpful for the league in getting players like Kawhi and PG to play consistently. But yeah,
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, moving on to our next topic. We're gonna see Steph Curry versus Sabrina. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but the female
the
baller.
female Steph
You know
Curry.
the female Curry basically. She broke the. I don't remember how much she had in the WNBA 3-point contest, but she beat Curry's record,
You know that
and yeah,
you know that Stephen A. Smith meme where he's
there's a
like,
lot of them.
"I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care."
We do.
I
Okay, yeah,
I like
I'm
the
familiar. Yeah,
I like the incentive and it's cool, but honestly, All-Star Weekend's already like mid enough to begin with. I don't really care. It like yeah, it's cool. Get the WNBA involved more, but yeah, like
yeah,
it. We already have the three-point shooting contest, the shitty dunk contest we get every year, and
yeah,
the skills challenge, which seems to change every year. So yeah, like I like the idea, and it's cool that I think she said she wants to use the NBA line specifically, which like it's honestly only like it's not even that big of a difference anyways. But yeah, I don't know.
and
It's
NBA
whatever to me.
ball.
Does she want to use an NBA ball?
I don't think so.
I doubt it. I feel like because that changes
I
a
don't think
lot.
she does. Yeah,
That changes a
would
lot.
change it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think so actually. Curry will shoot from the NBA three. Oh, so she's shooting from the WNBA 3-point line and WNBA basketball.
Yeah, the rules are that they each use their respective equipment and lines, but she wants to.
She wants
I think
to.
yeah, she
Okay.
tweeted after saying that she wants to that she'll shoot from the NBA line, which is literally like a few.
Yeah.
What's it measured in? Inches? Feet? Feet. I think it's feet.
It's measured in feet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's only like a foot to 2 feet longer. So like, other than in the corners,
probably.
it's
Yeah.
like the same.
Yeah. Um, I think that with this, I like it. Issue is it's pretty much a lose lose for Steph Curry
I know.
because it's like if he wins, then it's like, oh, you're just like beating up on a girl basically, and it's like, oh, you don't have any like sportsmanship. But then if he loses, then it's gonna start the narrative where like how different are WNBA players compared to the NBA,
Yeah.
and then it's gonna start a whole like big argument about pay that they always get into with the WNBA
Yeah,
players, how they complain so much about how much less they're getting paid. They're like, oh, well, we just beat the best shooter in the world. We beat him in the 3 point contest, so clearly we're at the same level. And
yeah.
I think some narratives start to
In
come
the
out.
general public, I think it will be one of those situations that you always see, and it is what it is. It's unfortunate. I guess it's kind of expected that people are gonna act like that at this point. But yeah, I if you're just looking at it from an entertainment and like ratings slash numbers viewpoint, I don't see anything wrong with it because I think it'll be quote unquote the highlight of the weekend just because everybody's going to want to tune into that to see since it is the first time. Similar to how
It is
the
interesting.
yeah, and like similar to even the now that they're going to two-night draft, it's just a ratings thing at the end of the day to try to bring in more viewership. And yeah, I think this will
Yeah.
be it'll I think it'll be fun because obviously they're both fantastic shooters. You know, Steph Curry, he's
Yeah.
okay. Um,
He's all right. He's above average for
but
sure.
yeah, um,
Yeah.
I I don't see it being bad, but I genuinely I barely enjoy watching All-Star Weekend in general anymore. So
Yeah. I forgot about the 2 day draft thing now. That's so stupid,
it's
man.
I genuinely hate the idea, but it's I don't even know how much the actual teams care about the extra 3 minutes they'll get to draft players in the second round. But yeah, that's strictly like 100% ratings based.
It definitely is. But the thing is, I don't understand why they didn't make it lottery the rest of the first round and then the second round as a separate day. Because I feel like the lottery takes up so much time.
Se-
And then after the lottery, they kind of speed it up a little bit.
yeah,
And there would be more interest on the second day
second
if it was like, yeah,
the second round's gonna get a viewer totalship of like 20 people, but
yeah. I mean, I'll be
that's
one of
better
them,
than zero
but
people.
I guess so. But yeah, they're doing a lot of things. Last thing about
Yeah,
Sabrina,
I do appreciate that Adam Silver just kind of he just tries things out, and if they stick, they
yeah,
stick. If they don't, they don't. And
got a new
it's interesting.
contract.
He he got that new
Who this
contract.
man's
He got
negotiating with?
he got that new contract, and he's splurging with ideas.
Man just picked a number. It was like, this is how much I want to get paid. He's like, okay.
He's talking to
Uh,
himself.
yeah,
He
just
like
in a
he
mirror.
like runs across the table. He's like, "How much do you want?" Runs to the other side. Well, I was thinking 300 million. You
You're
got it.
crazy. Oh, just like an hour negotiation after a long negotiation.
With myself.
Yeah. Uh, Last thing about Sabrina, really fire shoes.
Oh yeah, she has her own
She
shoe, doesn't she?
she has her own signature shoe. It's actually really nice. It's a really good pair of shoes.
Oops,
Uh,
just brought up.
so shout out. I don't know if you've seen them, but
I'm gonna pull up a picture of it right now. Hopefully I don't
yeah.
mess up my camera. Sabrina
I
William,
mean, I like
or
the model.
is her
If there
name
was any
William?
like
No, what's her? How do you spell her last? What's her last name?
Ionescu, Onscu. It's the Nike Sabrina one.
Nike Sabrina One. We're not
Yeah.
gonna talk about who I
There's
did
not
that. It's not bad. Yeah, no-
there's not many colorways I like, but the actual like model of the shoe I like.
yeah. I was gonna say the colorways are kind of mid, but yeah,
Yeah, if there was like a fire colorway, I'd be like over. Um, yeah. Speaking of all-star stuff, the reserves were announced yesterday. I think most were unsurprising.
yeah.
The big thing was, well, one of the big things. Trey Young left off the list.
I
I
think
think that he'll get in for Randall though, so I don't think it's too big of a deal.
and Embiid will probably need an injury replacement too. Scotty?
That's true. Scott, I'd probably say
I
Scotty,
think Scotty
unless
and
they're
Trey are the
forgetting.
I think Scotty and Trey are the front runners to be injury replacements. There's none
I
in
can
the
agree.
West, right?
No, like no, not right now, unless someone
Damn
gets
it.
injured. Yeah, I know. Preying on someone's downfall for real. Because okay, I didn't know this. there are the same amount of all-stars that make the all-star team now as there was in the early 80s when there was only 24 teams. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. So it
Yeah,
definitely needs to be
like
expanded.
yeah, I'd be okay with them adding a spot or two, like legit spots into the All-Star. I think 15's a little much, but yeah, just with the way the league
Yeah.
continuously is changing, because like people like to bring up the argument of, well, we're altering league history to help out the league now, but like the league is just so over talented at this point. It's the same thing with like expansion teams. Like there's legit players on teams that could go hoop
Yeah.
if they had the opportunity. But there's just so much
Hmm.
talent in the league that there's a lot of players that don't even get the chance to see the floor. So yeah, the
Yeah.
league is
Facts.
just super at an all-time high in terms of talent. So I'd be okay with them updating the All-Star game, especially since it's just the All-Star game. Like at the end of the day, no one really
Most
cares.
players don't play anyway. So
That
it's
too.
like it's more of an accolade thing.
And with someone
Like
exactly like with Jimmy, Jimmy should be an All-Star literally
he's,
every season, but he just doesn't care enough to try in the regular season and or make the All-Star. Like he literally just does not give a shit.
he doesn't give a shit, and it kind of pisses me off. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
know.
Like the Heat are the worst offensive team in the league, and we know what he could do offensively, how he could score at will. But he doesn't want to tax himself because he's just saving himself for the playoffs. And it's a
Just to
big
come up short.
gamble. Yeah, it's a big gamble when he does it because you have years like last year where it's like, oh my god, he's a genius for doing this. Why doesn't everyone do this? And then you have years like when they got swept by the Bucks, where it's like,
You also have
basically a whole season gone.
years like last year where you almost lose in the play into the Bulls. So
Yeah, that's crazy. um, yeah, exactly. But so another thing with the All Star game, no Sacramento Kings made it, which I'm not too surprised. I feel like get their respect a lot.
I'm kind of surprised Sabonis didn't make it because
It's actually bonkers.
he's been someone that's made it even since he was in Indiana, and people have been like, why is he making it?
Yeah, he wasn't nearly as good. It was also the East, and now he's in the
That's
West,
true. But
which
yeah,
does contribute, but still, like,
yeah, I think I not
yeah,
to discredit Karl Anthony Towns, but I would have picked Sabonis over him. Um,
100%.
yeah, and he's just he's other like he's one half of their engine offensively, and the stats show it. Like that man is like almost a 20 and
He's
15
averaging,
triple double every night.
yeah, he's almost averaging a triple double as a center. He's averaging basically 20 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. It's just insane, and the percentage he's doing at 62% from the field, and he shoots a three a game, shoots 45%, but that's like nothing basically.
Exactly.
But he's been so good, man.
Yeah,
Like 2013 and 8 is actually so absurd. I don't think people are realizing it.
I know. No, exactly. And like the his stats he puts up every night is insane. Do we
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
do we know who the reserves were? Not the reserves. The
Oh, coaches?
no, what the fuck is the word?
Because I have something funny about the coaches after.
The neutral
Uh,
positions. What's it called? Like the last two spots.
the neutral positions. Oh, what?
The
The
last
wild card?
the wild cards, yes, Jesus. Do we know who the
The
wild cards
neutral.
were in the East?
Um,
I guess not. I
NBA.
guess not technically.
Why do you
I
ask?
don't think they really specified it because I think this year Trey Young deserved to make it. I also think last year he deserved to make it too, as like just a not even an injury replacement. Because like the
He
fact
just
that
gets disrespected.
he's had two, I saw a post on the on Instagram yesterday. It was like he's the only player
I
that
think I know it.
averaged 25 and 10 over the last two seasons to not make an All-Star either time, and there was only one other time
He
in
did twice.
history,
Yeah,
which is
yeah. I seen that exact same post. Yeah,
Trey Young just continues to get disrespected by the league, is what it is. And then people will
yeah.
say and call him,
Honestly,
and then people will come in and call him overrated. I don't understand.
yeah. Um, I think that got forward that it doesn't matter if the player you replace was Like positions don't matter. It's just
Yeah.
gonna be Adam Silver who decides, and I think
You
he
get an
will
all-star.
decide
You get
Trey
an
Young.
all-star.
There's no
I
way he
I
doesn't.
I
You know?
agree. I don't think there's any like front runner to other than Trey
No.
though. Yeah.
If he does like Derek White, if he puts Derek White,
That's
that's actually so
crazy.
disrespectful. Like Derek White has been amazing, but like Trey Young needs to be an all-star before Derek White is.
I also don't as much as good as Derek White has been, I damn near don't think the Celtics deserve two all-stars. Just they have
Really?
such a good team. Like I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
No, that
you
makes
have
sense. Yeah.
basically five all-star caliber players in your starting lineup. Like I don't know. It's
You basically you do pretty much.
are we really surprised that they're the one seed right now? Like I don't think so.
Yeah, pretty much. Um, but yeah, a funny thing. So coaches can't in multiple years in a row, right?
They can't what?
So can't coach the All Star game multiple years in a row.
Kind of
So
stupid.
Missoula was the coach last year. So it always goes by seed. So last year, Missoula, who coached the All Star game, were at the time, I'm pretty sure. And so he was coaching the All Star game. So he can't coach it this year. You go to the second seed, is the Milwaukee Bucks. Their coach right now
Doc.
is 0-2 Doc Rivers. Is Doc Rivers going to coach the All Star game?
Now we need Joe Prunty coaching the All-Star game.
Adrian Griffin comes back. He's
God.
just Giannis, just like
Thank God
Giannis
they
is like,
fired him
oh
before the
hell no.
All-Star game. Who's third seed?
Yeah,
Oh,
third seed's
New
the
York's the
Knicks.
third seed right now. They should bring in
Third seed's
Tibbs,
Tibbs.
man.
The best thing to do, I think, because like
Yeah.
with the Bucks, there's just no winning.
You get
Or
Doc.
imagine
You could
a
bring in
coach
the.
that's 0-2 is the All Star coach.
Do you think? Do you think Adrian Griffin's gonna get another job?
Like maybe he'll probably be the head coach of Charlotte in the offseason.
I wouldn't be
I
mad
don't
at
see
that.
this season. Steve Clifford's gone this year.
I fucking hope so.
He's just gone. His contract is up. They have a new regime. He's just gone. And did you see the quote about what he said this year?
He's like, we're just not good or something like that. We're just
He
not.
just said
We're under.
we're just under
Yeah, we're
talented.
under talented. That's the thing is they don't even have a bad. They didn't even have a bad roster. Like not. I don't want to say bad. They didn't have a terrible roster like the Pistons. Like you have LaMelo, you have Terry Rozier who's been good, Gordon
Yeah.
Hayward who's been serviceable when he's not crippled. Um, PJ Washington's having a really good year.
Hornets were just like a play-in team with Lamelo. They were like a for sure 10 seed with just Lamelo and basically nothing else.
Literally,
And now you're saying that there's no.
maybe
Do you
you
know how many
just
draft
don't
picks
know.
they've had too?
Maybe you just don't know how to use your guys and try to get a team that doesn't want to
Exactly.
play
Yeah.
defense to buy in on defense.
Yeah. And when you're also playing players that shouldn't get lots of minutes, that's like, well, I wonder why this is
This is
happening.
why you think you're under talented.
He's such a bad coach, man. It's so crazy how the Hornets hired him again.
I was gonna say the fact that they brought him back is just what's crazy to me. Like, why did he even come back?
Yeah, I don't know why he came back or why. It's just it's gonna be
You know what's
he's gonna
kind of
be
crazy
gone.
to me? Why did they
Yeah.
let Borrego go? He was good with them, and he was building something at least with them.
Yeah, is Borrego an assistant coach with like the Timberwolves now?
He's on
I
the
don't know if
he's
he's still.
he's with New Orleans, my guy.
Oh, is he actually? Okay,
Yeah,
so there you go.
everybody wants him to be the head coach because no one likes Willie Green.
It's just you, man.
No, it's not, bro. Pelicans hate that man.
Yeah, well, coaching, you know. But yeah, he did have something going. His last season in Charlotte, they were 43-39.
Literally, they were solid with him. I don't know.
They were. I don't know. They were just like, nah, we're
Well,
gonna go
weren't
with
they trying
Steve
to?
Clifford
They were
now.
trying to pursue Kenny Atkinson, weren't they? And then he was like, I'm gonna
They
go back.
were,
I'm
and
gonna go
then
back to the Warriors.
yeah, that's exactly what happened. I remember that. I was like, oh, Kenny Atkinson, that's a perfect fit. And then he's like,
I
I'm
don't.
going to the
I'm
Warriors.
not gonna be here
And then they just scrambled and they were like, old reliable,
for real.
old unreliable. Got the old right. Um, but yeah,
Old and bald.
let's let's talk about the recently retired somehow Marc Gasol. So I guess he recently officially retired, playing overseas, I guess, but he's been out of the league for a while. Do you
Yeah.
remember the last team he played for?
Was it the Lakers?
Yes, of course. He
Oh
was on the
yeah.
Lakers.
Old man Marc Gasol on one leg. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
That wasn't the
I did too,
championship year,
honestly.
wasn't it?
No,
That's
no, he
I didn't
wasn't
think
on the
so.
championship team.
Damn.
This was 2020 and 2021, so it was the year after. It was the year after.
Uh, when they
It was the
decided
year after
to
the
split
championship.
up their championship team for whatever reason.
No,
Or was that the year after that they
no.
broke the team
Yeah,
up?
that was the year after. They still had Kuzma on this team. There was no Westbrook yet.
Thank God.
What year is this? Wait, they lost to the Suns. Oh, okay.
Oh
This is the
yeah,
year they
that's
lost to the Suns. AD was injured.
yeah. And people think if AD was healthy,
This
they
is the
wouldn't have
year
won.
that, yeah, this is the year the Suns went to the finals. So, uh, yeah. But he's recently retired. And do we think that he is an all-star? Or
It all, it all,
well, he actually made it three times. Um, do we think he's a Hall of Famer?
they were talking about
Obviously,
that
yes.
on No Dogs, no dogs, no dunks, and
No, no dogs.
no dogs allowed. And I think I feel like it's a guaranteed yes. Like I don't know, NBA champion, multiple time All Star in his prime. Um, obviously amazing defender, and even like um, offensively, he was a solid scoring option, space the floor type. I 100% think he should be uh, Hall of Fame, not an All Star. Hall of
Yeah,
Fame.
he definitely could have like averaged more points if he really wanted to.
I
Like
agree.
his offensive talent is definitely better than
What it
what
shows.
shows.
Yeah, I agree.
And yeah, he was a guy that stretched the floor, amazing playmaker because European bigs usually are,
Yeah.
but he just had that amazing defensively. And the Grizzlies are retiring his jersey number, which makes sense. Do you know what team they're retiring it against? Like what team they're playing the night that they're retiring his jersey?
No, I have no idea.
It's the 76ers against Embiid because
Damn.
Marc Gasol owns that man.
Damn. The disrespect.
That the other day, he's averaging 36 points per game, but he had a game against Marc Gasol and the Raptors when he scored zero
I was
points.
gonna say, I remember that. I remember
He
that.
had a scoreless game when he was an all-star. He wasn't at the level he's at right now, but it's still just crazy to me that the
Rags to
MVP
riches.
was, yeah, pretty much. Um, but yeah, Marc Gasol won a championship. I was actually like a big part of that championship.
Yeah.
Like it was, a little bit of ring chasing because he wanted to go to a team that can win, and he was so good on that Raptors team. He was a big part of that championship team.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like Dwight Howard also has a championship, but his is a bit different than Marc Gasol played a bigger
Dwight was
role on.
playing some backup PT at the center position.
Yeah, was Gasol still the backup too though,
No, he was
or
starting.
was Gasol? Oh, Gasol. He was starting. Okay, yeah, yeah. Was Ibaka coming off the
Ibaka was
bench?
coming off the bench. That
Oh, okay,
team,
yeah,
like
he did start.
when you look at the photos of that team, it honestly doesn't look real. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
Gasol started every game in
you
the
got
in the playoffs
Gas-
that year.
you got Gasol, Kawhi, Lowry, Van Vliet was still there, obviously. OG, Serge, Danny Green, like that team just does not look real. Norm Powell was still there.
It was just a ragtag team of just
It
dogs.
was. You gotta have
Does
that
that
dog.
if if Kawhi stays, do they win back to back?
I think there's a solid chance. I mean, because KD probably still leaves, so because
Yeah.
the consensus is if KD was healthy, the Raptors probably don't win that series. But
Yeah, that's kind of the big asterisk on that championship is that even if Clay is healthy,
it's
then
closer,
you could
yeah.
argue that the Raptor, yeah,
Well, because he got hurt
but
in that game
hey,
six, and I think the Warriors were up at the time, and or at least it was close.
they were,
Steph
yeah, it
couldn't
was,
close out
yeah,
the game because a choker.
No, because they were like, oh, there's literally no one else on this court that can do anything.
Just go,
Let's.
just go get Steph, guys.
That's what Nick Nurse did. He literally just. Fred VanVleet was on that ass. Yeah. Um, yeah. Marc Gasol, Defensive Player of the Year as well. Are there and also Fame
Fraudulent.
is not just the NBA Hall of Fame. It's also
Exactly.
like the Basketball Hall of Fame. So, he has a great overseas resume too, which I think factors in.
Yeah,
But I think he's for sure a Hall of Famer.
I agree. Even if he didn't, I think he'd still deserve it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Like his accolades don't look obvious. Like I thought he was more than a three-time All-Star. And he only has one all defensive team, which is kind of crazy because it's the year he won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
And he was on the second all
I was gonna
defensive
say
team
that fraudulent
and one
that
depoy.
fraudulent depoy. Who was on the first team?
Probably Tyson Chandler. I could look. 2012 to 2013 all defensive.
I
Uh
still to this day don't understand
Tony
how that
Tony
happens.
Allen was on that team. Let's see. 2012 to 2013 it was Tyson Chandler and Joakim Noah. They were tied. So wait, doesn't that mean that
Yeah, I thought back then
so
it was
Marc Gasol
center.
was the
That's crazy.
third center though? So yeah, I didn't know you could tie for all defensive team, and then they just. Anyways, yeah, it was Tyson Chandler and Joakim Noah. Serge Ibaka was on the first team.
Sergi Blaka.
Yeah, Marc Gasol, the legend. I like his basketball nickname of Big Burrito.
It's a good nickname to me.
It's a, it's a good nickname. It's a
That's
good
what they
nickname.
used to call me.
Hey, that's what they used to call me. um, he just turned 39 a couple days ago, so happy birthday, Marc
Thought he
Gasol. If
was
you're
older, to be honest. But I guess that makes
Yeah,
sense.
he was 30. He was 36 during his last year in the NBA, and then it's been a couple of years in Spain. But
I guess I just forgot that
yeah,
LeBron is like 90. So
yeah, he's the same. It's actually insane, man, longevity. But still
he's
not
getting
my goat.
gray hairs now. Darvin Ham's driving him up the wall.
Been good. But the Lakers played really good yesterday,
I was
so I'm
gonna say
thinking maybe
I didn't check the
maybe
box score.
LeBron's the problem.
I didn't check the box score
I,
until late last night. I was like, the fuck? The Lakers beat the Celtics, and then I was like, wait a minute.
yeah,
I thought I saw that AD and LeBron were ruled out for this game.
they were.
The fully healthy Celtics lost at home to the Lakers. Like that's crazy.
Too, I forgot about that. No, man, that Lakers team was playing like something else. I watched the first half of that game. First quarter was some of the best Lakers basketball I've seen in a while in the LeBron era, and he was even there. Like they were hitting threes. They were the amount of hustle plays that team had, and the amount of offensive rebounds they got. It was insane how hard they were working, and that's just what it came down to. They just worked harder than the Celtics that game.
Darvin
But
Ham had them boys looking
yeah,
going extra hard that game.
nice. Um, yeah, that's why I texted you. I said maybe LeBron's the problem because they were doing so good.
He is the
It just
problem.
looked like a completely different team. But
Yeah.
like, this
I
isn't
mean,
to
the thing is,
discredit LeBron, but like,
yeah, the thing is, that's how it is though. Like you lose such a ball dominant player like LeBron, you're gonna play differently, whether you have talent or not. So yeah, I understand it, and obviously it's not LeBron's fault or anything, but yeah, kind of
yeah,
an interesting win.
it is interesting. I wonder what LeBron's team record is all time when he's like not playing, especially with like if we go back to like the Kyrie Cavs teams, um, like the Heat,
Yeah,
and like even some versions of the Lakers. I wonder what like how good the his teams play when he's out, and like you know
I think for the most
like
part, I think for the most part,
obviously he still helps his team, but
yeah.
like
I think for the most part, it's not gonna be amazing, like
yeah,
record wise when he doesn't play. But yeah,
yeah for sure. Sure, I'm not trying to like discredit him. It's just an interesting like thought piece, kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, how much time do we have? We could keep going if we need to. It's been like
It's been a little over
okay.
half an hour.
Yeah, we could do
What college you went to? Just kidding.
what college? Okay, let's do it.
Fuck no, I'm not.
Um,
I don't know colleges.
no,
The one thing I can't remember is colleges and jersey numbers. I'm so bad with jersey numbers.
oh, jersey numbers. I'm with. I'm good with colleges though. Like I forget, bro. This was such a random pull. I was listening to numbers on the board, and they were talking about
Numbers on the board,
Paul Reed,
yes.
and they were like, "What college does he go to?" And I was like, "I'm pretty sure it's DePaul." And I was like, "I don't know how I know that, but I just think it is." And it was. And
Yeah,
I was like,
you're right.
"Oh,
I remember seeing that in 2K yesterday.
that's the only reason people know, man."
It is.
I feel like I have lots of them memorized. Yeah. There was another one where it was like, I don't even know that I know. There was another one too. It was some random player, and I was like, "Oh, they went to this college," and I was like, "I actually got that." Like that was just a like a gut feeling I had. Um, but yeah. So did you hear about the Rockets trying to trade for Mikal Bridges?
Yeah, the Nets. What are the Nets doing, man?
The Nets are so
They're
bad.
so petty, is what it is. It's literally they're just petty.
It's pride. It's
Yeah,
pride. Yeah.
like just
They don't want a repeat of
and you
what
get
happened
your
with the.
picks. You get your picks. Like all you have to do
That's
at
why
that
it's
point
so
is
perfect.
all you had to do at that point is suck.
Yeah. And bro, Mikal on the Rockets,
I know.
I low key love that fit. Him and Sengun, like it benefits both sides. I feel like
I
because
agree.
the Rockets are trying to win. Bro, Ime and Mikal, those two would be such good buddies, man.
In what
They'd love
way?
each other. Oh, Ime Udoka gets fired from another team. He gets at least an absence again.
Damn,
Maybe not.
the
But
Hornets
yeah,
will
like
pick
that would
him up.
be. Yeah, exactly. They'll Hornet. Nah, they'll just re-sign Steve Clifford to a 10-year deal.
No, the Hornets got enough problems. Might as well add another one.
Yeah, that's true. That's why Ime like finally a culture I can get behind.
Jesus, this is
Finally, a
this
team
is
I
my
can
kind
get
of team.
behind. Like, that would be such a good fit. And yeah, it's their own picks. I think you'd be getting all of them. If you get your own picks and you just like bite the bullet, then at least.
I think they said if they were to consider it, they want literally every pick. I saw a tweet that they declined to trade for 2 first-round picks for Dorian Finney-Smith. I hope that shit was cap.
No way. No, that has to be fake.
I hope it was fake, because if that's true,
Bro,
that's
what are they
insane.
doing? What are they doing?
They have such a good
No, if that's
they have such a good opportunity to blow the team up and get just a shit ton of picks. Like you could get
so
three or
many
four.
players they can flip,
You could get, huh?
so many like flippable players. Like Dorian Finney-Smith is the perfect player that so many
Exactly.
teams would
You
want
could get
and give you first round picks
you
for.
can get 2 to 3 for McHale, one for Dorian Finney-Smith. You could probably get maybe maybe one for Royce O'Neal, maybe 2 seconds instead. But at the end of the day, it's still picks. Um, I
Yeah,
don't, they have apparently shown interest in moving on from Claxton too, which I could see it. Like you're gonna have to pay him. So
yeah, his contract is coming
if you'd
up,
rather
so
not pay him than trade him, team would definitely pay for his defensive
yeah.
abilities.
Just run
Like
the
the Pelicans.
the Cam Thomas show.
No,
Pelicans.
literally, and just have Cam Thomas go out and
Yeah,
put up 30 every night and win no games. But
yeah,
I feel like I'm missing someone too. Cam Johnson.
yeah. I feel like I'm
his contract's a
Johnson
little
just kicked in.
yeah, his contract's
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
hefty now, but I mean, he still provides great floor spacing, which is good
yeah.
for and size for competing teams,
Hmm.
but yeah,
I don't think they'd get anything for Dinwiddie really.
probably
Like
not.
you won't really
I
get
think
much
he'd
from
be
him.
I
So
think
I'm
he'd
trying to
probably
think
be
down the
like
roster.
a if he were to get traded, I think he'd be an added piece in a trade for like someone like Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah, yeah. No, they just need to bring D'Lo back.
For real.
D'Lo and Cam Thomas show going crazy.
D'Lo will
Um,
have them boys acting different.
yeah, exactly. They'll be like, no, we don't want to win. No, we have our picks now.
D'Lo, stop it!
Maybe D'Lo's not the bro. That three he pulled in the Warriors game, he's actually a psycho. Have you seen the clip of
It's
like the pull
confidence.
up three he took with LeBron calling for the ball and he's smiling and just taking the pull up 3 pointer so nonchalant? Like
That's
it's actually
that's a different
bonkers.
level of confidence.
It is.
Imagine looking off basically the goat and just shooting a
Yeah.
pull-up shot.
Oh, he said it. He said the thing. He's
Mark
Russell
it,
Brunson the
LeBron's the
goat.
goat.
That's the goat. Write it up.
I feel like consensus. I don't know. I haven't looked at polls in a while on that, but I feel like that's probably the consensus at this point. That
Probably once he broke the scoring record, I feel
yeah,
like it shifted a bit.
I agree.
I think it. I still don't know how to feel, but I mean, I still think I'm still MJ, but like I
It's just like
appreciate both talents
yeah,
more.
it's just like the longevity. It's just such an interesting thing to gauge because like no one's doing what
What
he's
do you value more?
no one's doing what he's done before, but at the same time like it's basically just stat padding. So like I don't know.
He said it. Clip it. It's a stat pattern.
Crucify
Le
him!
stat pattern.
Crucify him! List stat padding.
Le stat. Other thing with the Rockets. What do you think about how do you gauge him? It's hard for me to gauge
For
kind of
wait, who?
Jalen Green because like so if the Rockets were to get Rockets are trying to like win. They
Uh,
see how they started the season. They see that they have good pieces. I think Jalen Green's kind of a player on their team that doesn't really fit what they're trying to do and their
I agree.
culture.
I hate Jalen
So
Green.
I'm trying to like
He's on my fantasy
trying to
team.
think of like yeah.
He's yeah, he's just
So,
he's just too raw and too like not raw, but just too like inefficient and inconsistent.
yeah.
Like one night he'll have 30 and he'll look like he'll have a good game, and another night he'll have like 15 to 20 on poor shooting splits. And the rest of his game hasn't really come around to help out with that either. Like he's not really a good defender, even though he has the tools. He's not a good playmaker. Um, and yeah,
Yeah.
I think he just needs to like, because obviously coming into the league, the idea of Jalen Green was that he's going to be this elite scorer, athletic.
The mold of like Zach Levine, what we're
Exactly.
seeing of like Anthony Edwards now,
But like, it
guys
feels like
like
what we're
in that
getting.
mold.
It feels like more of what we're seeing is like a almost like a six-man type.
Yeah,
Just an
like Jordan Clarkson
inefficient,
kind of.
yeah, just an inefficient like bucket getter, which is cool to have, but like as your obviously as your
With the
franchise
second overall
player,
pick,
and yeah, the
yeah,
second overall pick, I think if he
be your
can
franchise guy,
exactly,
yeah.
I think he can if he can develop the rest of his game, he'll be fine. But yeah, we'll just have to, and maybe that problem is that's not in Houston, but yeah,
I don't know. He's just so like unpolished compared to like Booker. Like he kind of coming into the league, they kind of are on like similar like trajectories, but Booker just worked on his game so hard and made himself so polished.
yeah,
And Jalen Green just doesn't really have that polish and that refined game. He's kind of just like going through the motions, kind of like he'll have times where he looks amazing, but then times where he looks like, what are you doing?
yeah,
Just that inconsistency.
yeah,
And he's kind of in that mold of like Jordan Clarkson, Jordan Poole, the Jordans,
the Jordans, Michael,
But like Porter Jr.
Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, MJ. Obviously, he's in the mold of MJ. He's just so bad defensively, man.
I know, yeah,
That's another thing too.
and the thing is, you thought like someone like Ime would have helped out with his progression on that side of the ball, but
I mean,
it's just
just
to
like
him.
Trey Young, this is his best defensive season, but also that's not saying anything at all.
Jalen Green has all the athletic tools though. Trey Young is like 5'11" and a midget, so yeah,
He just doesn't have like that
I
motor,
was
I
gonna
feel
say he
like.
doesn't have that dog in him. He's like DeAndre Ayton,
Yeah.
but it's okay
He's
because DeAndre
he's
Ayton's a max player.
yeah, yeah. But it just doesn't seem like he wants it. Like he's kind of like the cool guy. Like he never met the guy. I don't want to like make assumptions, but feels like he's just happy that he's in the league. You know,
I'm just happy to be
like
here.
he's like his childhood dream was to be in the NBA. But he doesn't like. It's kind of like Wiggins. I feel like kind of similar to how we've seen Wiggins when he was in
Minnesota.
Minnesota. It's just like doesn't have that extra drive to want to be greater than he is.
That's
Like,
fair. I can see that. And I feel like the
yeah,
main difference between that and this though is that the Rockets have a chance to compete at least for the play-in right now. Those
that's
Timberwolves
true.
teams reeked. And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
part of that was on Wiggins too, but yeah.
hmm but another thing is just like NBA players, NBA players, psychopaths. Like to be a top player in the league, you need to be like you want to have to want it so bad and just basically be addicted to basketball pretty much because that's what it takes. You have to be the best of the best. You have to work harder than everyone else, and I just don't really see that in Jalen Green, like
I agree.
wanting to put in that work.
I think
I mean,
once you make the
mm,
league though, it is easier to put in the work as an NBA player. 'Cause like at that
for
point
sure, yeah,
you have all of the um like all the good
the
things that
assets,
come
the
with
resources.
exactly. You have all the
Oh,
resources that come with the league. You know, special training time, gym time. They people who schedule your day for you essentially, and you can have all the right
yeah,
if you choose so. You can have all the right nutrition and things as well, unless you're someone like Anthony Edwards eating Popeyes.
oh, oh, I thought you were gonna mention someone else. Your New Orleans friend.
Oh, Mr.
Uh,
Mr. Gumbo.
I even thought you were Mr. Gumbo as well. Basketball reference. Yeah.
That
I also thought you were gonna mention Mikal Bridges because apparently Mikal Bridges eats like Chipotle
I
every
was gonna say
day.
I couldn't remember if it was Chipotle or not that he eats all the time.
I think it's Chipotle with Mikal Bridges. Um, I think another problem with kind of the Wiggins problem and the Jalen Green problem is that if Jalen Green stays exactly how he is and he's up for his extension, he's going to still get paid a lot of money.
Yeah,
And I think that's kind of the extra problem with motivation. It's kind of like the DeAndre Ayton thing where it's like, why would I work harder to be great? I already am making so much money.
yeah, that's fair.
Like it's not that extra drive or incentive. Like DeAndre Ayton got paid, and like I feel like he doesn't really see a need to get with like
Once that
I don't know if that makes sense, but
once
like
that
once that check hits,
once that last year comes around and DeAndre is on the final year of his max and he sees that no one wants to extend him, he's like, shit,
yeah,
I'm gonna become a defensive player of the year candidate.
yeah. Hassan Whiteside's his favorite player, man.
Hassan Whiteside
He's
is
his
the
mentor.
man's would come out and hoop just in the last year of his contract so he could get another one.
Yeah,
Eric
Hassan
Spol
Whiteside's only 34.
Eric Spoelstra saw right through that man.
Yeah. Um. Okay. Last thing for sure. This will only take like a couple minutes. Tony Snell, man. I understand. $50 million career, begging for the league to bring him back so that he can have the healthcare plan that comes with being a 10-year NBA player. Which, like, I get it. You're looking after your family. You have two children with, but like, I know, I know a single mother that had autism, and she wasn't making a lot of money, and she made it work.
I agree.
I'm just
That's
saying,
my thing.
like,
Like I saw people were like, this man needs to get to the league for these benefits, blah blah blah. And like fair enough. Like if you're a team like the Hornets, like why not just sign him to a minimum contract for 1 year? Or the Wizards, like
yeah,
you don't have anything to lose. And if that's what you're saying,
I'm
like
not
sure,
sure.
go for it. Like he deserves that. But I don't think him not making the league for another year is like the end of the world. Like, oh no, this poor multimillionaire doesn't get free healthcare. Okay, there are people, there are homeless people who don't have healthcare. I mean, at the end of the day, that's also on partially on them. But like,
Yeah,
boo hoo, the multimillionaire doesn't get free healthcare for his kids. It sucks, but
yeah,
he'll be fine.
yeah. I'd also, how much money does like for like they don't have like severe medical problems. They just have
Yeah,
autism.
they're just part. They're
Like,
yeah, I forget what it was called specifically, but they're just partially on the spectrum, essentially.
yeah, which like there's so many people there that have come
Yeah,
from worse and have been fine. I don't know. Maybe there's some other issues and like go get your bag. He's also playing in the G League.
I was gonna
Like,
say
I
that's
mean,
kind of
yeah.
the disrespectful, the just playing in the G League but not getting the same benefits. Like I guess it makes sense, but like damn,
I mean, just I mean, I guess he's not on a two-way contract. He's just like in the G League. But yeah,
he
he should
just said
just yeah. A
sign.
team like the Hornets should just like the Hornets should sign him just so that they're more likable because they're just an
Damn,
unlikable team should just sign Tony Snell, man. Play him 40 minutes, just like the good old days. We'll get another graphic, another Tony Snell graphic,
just need the
and
Celtics
then
to
the
pick
world
him
will
up,
be at peace. The Celtics?
get him a
I
ring,
think he's on the
get him a
Celtics
ring
G
like that. I
League
think
team,
so. Yeah,
so it's perfect. And like they could use bench depth. They can use shooting. You know
Tony Snell, you're coming
why?
in here
Why
for
not?
3 minutes of playtime.
But yeah, like if the Nasus has a contract, damn near I could have a contract. Like you know,
Thanasis is a straight
like
Hoover. I have a question for you. This is off topic. Well, not still NBA related, but off topic from what we were talking
what's your favorite ice cream
about.
flavor?
What's your favorite video game? No. Do you think at this point in the league it is more normal to be a fan of a player or a fan of a team?
Um, it depends on where you live. I think that's the main thing. If you live somewhere with an NBA team, then I think definitely team. But like for us, you could say the
I was
Raptors.
gonna say,
But like I've always been a fan of when it comes to football is more of a player oriented league where they
yeah,
market players more individually. Whereas in hockey, it is more of like, to compare the two, it is more of like a team thing where you don't really see fans of individual players, where it's mostly just like everyone's just a fan of their team. And it's the same thing with like football too. Football is
yeah.
very much that way, I feel
Football is
like.
very much like that. That's my thing. The NBA is very
Yeah.
player driven, and
It's very player movement
yeah,
heavy as well,
this
which contributes to it.
this sparks from Twitter. Pelicans fans are very obsessed with um
Depression.
they that too. No, they just find it like they find it hard to believe that someone could be a fan of a player rather than a team, and it just doesn't make sense to me. Like I understand if you want to be a fan of a team, especially if you live there, but like why like it gets to a point where it feels like you enjoy the I guess the branding and just the aspects around the team rather than what's actually on the court. And that's what confuses me because they're like, I don't care who's on the court as long as it's on my team, I'm supporting them. But like, why would I want to watch, I don't know, the Hornets right now? You know, it's just weird to
Yeah,
me. And especially with how player driven the league is, I feel like it's not surprising at all to be, um, if there were more player fans than team fans. Because like, I guess probably
yeah,
more player fans. Because like, even just LeBron has got to have like half the damn world on
pretty
his
much. Yeah.
bandwagon,
On his wagon.
slanging his
Uh,
wagon.
another thing with that too is like there were so many good teams in the league, so many fun teams to watch. Where it's like, if my team isn't doing good, why would I waste my time watching them? Like
Exactly.
we're seeing best players in the world at their peaks, some of the best basketball we'll ever see, and you're gonna waste your time watching the Hornets. We're really going on the Hornets. We're gonna waste. You're gonna
The
waste your time watching
Hornets
the
deserve all
Hornets
the
every night.
disrespect.
You know what I mean? You're gonna waste your time watching the Hornets every night just because you're a fan of the Hornets. Meanwhile, while you're watching the Hornets game, Luca just dropped 73, and
I
you're
was
like,
gonna
oh,
say when
but
he was when he
you
was
know,
hooping, I was watching the Pelicans game. I was like, Luca has like 60. I'm tuning into this game. But
wasn't there like a wrestling thing that was going on,
oh, was
or was
that?
that a
No,
different
that
game?
was
Oh, that was the Lakers. That was the
that
Lakers
was the Lakers
Warriors game.
Warriors. Yeah. But
Clown. Yeah.
yeah, I totally lost track of what I was thinking about.
Yeah. But yeah, there's so much good basketball going on. That's why, like, I'm a neutral fan. Neutral fan. You just get to just enjoy basketball.
Ding. No,
Piece up the thing.
that's the thing. It's just like because people like to say like you've been a fan of this team for so long when they finally get it, it's gonna be so rewarding. But like
Live in that city, it's not gonna hit.
exactly, and there's a lot of teams that never even get have gotten that opportunity yet. So like it'll be rewarding. I don't know, 50 years. Look at how long it took Cleveland to get one.
Yeah, but I feel like if you don't live area surrounded by other fans of your favorite team, then it's not as worth it if they win the championship. Like I think they talked about this on Numbers on the Board with Mike. Like
Numbers
when
on
the
the
Lakers
board,
won the
yeah.
championship, like, like he didn't really feel a Lakers fan for a long time, but he didn't feel like a certain type of way. He was just like, "Oh, that's cool. My team won. It's something I could brag about." But it wasn't like this intense feeling that you thought was kind of going to happen from
Yeah,
your favorite
you
team
don't get the
winning
full
it all
you don't
because he's
get the
not
full
there. Yeah,
experience because we're up in Canada. So the Lakers winning the championship in 2020, as we're at that point pretty big LeBron and Laker fans. We like
yeah,
literally
yeah.
the game was going on during Thanks. What? No, not Thanksgiving. It was during some
That was,
the finals game where the Lakers beat the final game where they beat the Heat. It was going on during some family event, and it was just on in the background, and like
yeah,
I didn't even care because
yeah. No,
I was like,
exactly.
yeah, the Lakers are probably gonna win this, and
Yeah,
yeah,
no, yeah.
yeah, I don't know, and it's just not, it just doesn't hit the same. Like even like for when the boring old CFL wins, and they win for the home team wins here, like there's definitely a different vibe in the city, but like if I think it'd be a little different if like the Raptors won again. I think there would be definitely some hype around the city because there are a lot of Raptors fans here, even though we're not
Especially
in
since after
Toronto.
that
But
championship got a lot of people into basketball.
yeah, I think
It
I
really just helped Canada.
yeah I think like a more like I think a local team like the Raptors would, or a more local team like the Raptors would bring that hype back. But yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. They need to bring the Sea Bears into the NBA.
I was gonna say no. If the Winnipeg Jets Stanley Cup, which like, so if they ever did, it's one where it would like
The city
it would
would
hit so
the city
hard,
would light up.
and this
Yeah.
and it would yeah, it would be and like really feel that as much weren't from here and still a fan. Like I feel like it's a different experience when you're in the city, watching playoff games, in the streets or at bars or
Yeah.
even in the arena. It's just totally different. It's really hard, I feel like, to be a real committed fan of a team and have that deep emotional connection if you're not from there or have like a type of connection to
Just
there.
surrounded by other fans. I agree. It's just
Like if the Pelicans won, like I don't think
they'd still want to trade.
like
They'd still want to trade Brandon Ingram if they won.
it would like be really cool and it would feel really good for you. But I don't think it would be like this big thing for you. I could be
Yeah,
misspeaking
like
here, but
it'd be
I don't
cool.
know.
I have watched a lot of games over the past few years, so I guess it would be pretty rewarding. But yeah,
Yeah, that's another thing too.
at
But
the end of the day, I want to see BI
Dredger and the
traded.
dog.
I want to see BI traded because I hate the Pelicans fans. They're so annoying.
Yeah. But like even when the Lakers were bad for a bad, that's kind of when first got into basketball, and I'd say we were Lakers fans at the time, like
That's where
during
my
the
love
D'Lo, the
Instagram. Brandon Instagram.
exactly. But like even you said, Lakers won the championship, didn't hit the same because well, a it wasn't the same like team. Like the team itself changes so much, so it's like when a team wins, it's not like the version of the team that you fell in love with, you
Yeah,
know?
you don't have incredible
Like
attachment
if
to
it would have
players.
been, yeah,
I
if those players would have developed into stars and won together, then I think that Lakers championship would have hit.
yeah,
But it was the fact that they basically just like bought their championship,
I don't know. Yeah, in that
and those
specific
guys
case
were kind of
too.
just filler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in that specific case too, for me, it's kind of weird because I was also a huge fan of AD when he was in New Orleans as well, and then he
yeah,
got traded to the
you were,
Lakers. So I was like, and they, yeah, basically my favorite players
and a
got
fan of
traded.
LeBron when he was on the
Yeah,
Cavs.
my favorite players got traded for each other. So I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
I was
exactly. You
like,
were
I'll
like, oh,
watch. I'll be fans of both teams.
yeah, that was kind of perfect for you because it was like AD can go compete, Brandon Ingram could have the keys,
Yeah,
so that was like the perfect yeah.
it was basically like AD sent off my fandom with that championship because I like the year after I did not watch a single Lakers game
That's true. I feel like once they won the championship, I felt the same kind of way where, especially once they got Westbrook.
because
But yeah,
I thought they were just gonna cruise through the regular season, which wasn't exactly the case. They were still good, but like
they were the 7th seed that year,
yeah,
the year after, I think.
I think they slipped a bunch. Like I think they started off the year
Yeah,
decent.
yeah. But yeah, once that championship, like, too, where it's like after they win that championship, it's like, what next? It's kind of like that dilemma.
My next
Where it's
chapter,
like, yeah, my next chapter, the Charlotte Hornets. Um,
Mavericks.
anyways, that's Mavericks.
After
We'll
Luca
see.
dropped 73, Katie's like, "Let me come on."
Whoa.
Pause.
Um, Man just didn't finish the sentence. I was like, yeah, this feels like a right place to end this sentence.
Let me come.
Um, okay, so that is all for this episode of the Hooper's Lab podcast. We hope you enjoyed. We hope that you leave 5 stars on Spotify. If you're on
10
Spotify, we hope that
stars.
you subscribe and leave a like on YouTube. What were you going to say?
10 stars.
10 stars. Um, twinkle, twinkle, Patrick Star. So yeah, that's all for this episode. We'll see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.
Adios.